All right, everybody, it's time for us to jump back into Islanders. I wasn't expecting to play this game again so soon on the channel, but the game just had an update and it took me by complete surprise. And because I enjoyed this game so much, I figured why not enjoy the new update. They've added a few new islands and some new buildings, as well as made some balance changes to some things. I don't know all the details in the patch notes. You can read them if you want to. There's a link in the description, but holy crap, let's get started and start having a good time. So we'll just click continue here. I've already got a new island loaded up. This has a nice big square area where I'm gonna try and concentrate most of my farms over here because we can manipulate that pretty well. And then we've got this sandy area where we can put a lot of our buildings and our houses and things like that. So let's get started. I already picked up the first item, or the first pack rather, which was the farming pack. So I'm gonna put down these farms next to the monument to get the bonus points. Boom and ba-boom. And then look at this, we're already getting a mega 21 points from this mill. Now I'll tell you what really has me excited about playing Islanders after it received an update, because I play a lot of what is commonly referred to nowadays as games as service, right? And a lot of times what'll happen to me as a content creator and a generally hardcore gamer, I spend a lot of hours playing a particular game, and generally I run out of stuff to do in the game. It's not a bad thing to run out of things to do in a game. It just happens if you play for 5, 6, 7 hours a day or more. And what happens when that's the case is that you end up waiting for a new content update. You end up waiting for the next injection of things to do. And I wasn't expecting to wait around for a new injection of things to do in Islanders. I thought this was just going to be a one and done thing. The stuff that's in the game at launch is going to be the stuff that's in the game forever. But little did I know that the guys at Grizzly Games, they were planning on being a game as service. And I put that in air quotes because it's a gimmicky term that's being used nowadays that it doesn't mean anything special. It doesn't mean anything new, because the whole idea of creating a game and continuing to iterate and update that game has been around for a very long time. Just look back to World of Warcraft and things of that nature, and you'll see that games have been considered services for a long time, but only recently have we started trying to classify that as some unique thing. I'm gonna plot my city center down here and start building some mansions. Oh, I got a new thing already. So far so good. I'm tempted to pick up the shaman, but I also feel like maybe I should go for a lumber pack, but we don't have a lot of trees and things near our city center and our monument, so that might not be the best thing for points. So let's go for the shaman. That's going to give us a lot of mansions that we can play around with around our city center. And the shaman, we got a lot of flowers. All right, that's good. I'm not going to place it down yet. But yeah, anyway, this idea that a game as a service being a new thing, it's been bothering me lately, because I watch YouTube too. I don't just make the YouTube videos, I watch them. And every once in a while in my feed, something will pop up that says, the problem with games as a service, or the reason games as a service should die. Oh, listen, all you got to do is make a good game and provide updates for it, and it's a game as service. Right now, Islanders is the most successful game as service that I'm playing currently. Okay? And it's not even billed as a game as service. It's just billed as a game. Look at this. We got a nice kind of pattern going on. And by the way, I haven't thought any of this conversation through, so I'm spitballing off the top of my head. But my point is, I don't think it's ever a good idea to argue against the development of games as service, because games like Destiny, The Division, and World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Final Fantasy XI, Guild Wars, the list goes on. Those games are amazing. Those games are so much fun. they're so satisfying to play, to build out your character and know that there's always going to be new ways to continue engaging with the game. That stuff is exciting, and it would be a shame if those type of games went away because it's popular right now to say that games as a service are trash and they've all been epic failures. And to a certain extent, the modern iteration of games as a service has been kind of a failure when you look at the history of the Division 1 and Destiny 1. These games launched in less than ideal ways. They weren't universally loved or accepted when they first launched. But that may have more to do with the genre that they were in and not the fact that they were games that were designed to have longevity, right? The shooter-looter genre, by my estimation, has been more problematic than this idea of having a game oriented towards longevity and constant updates and things of that nature. All right, so anyway, rant over. Maybe that made sense, maybe it didn't. I'm going to take a Fisher pack. We got some more mansions that we can plop around and continue having some fun with these. I want to put a mansion next to the brewery to be kind of like the people that own the brewery are super rich. That looks pretty nice, but actually I'm going to save that for now. I'm going to see if I can maybe squeeze these in closer without blocking the front door, because you guys may or may not know that I have a mild obsession with having my front doors accessible in this game. I don't like the idea of blocking the entrance to people's homes. It bothers me quite a bit. So right now I'm struggling to get the exact placements that I want to get. But we are still getting some good points for our normal houses. So I'm going to shift over. Instead of doing all these mansions, I'm going to go to these normal houses. And we've already unlocked another island. But I'm going to stick with this one for a little bit more. And then we'll shift gears to the next island. Damn, I didn't leave enough space for the fountain. That always happens to me, man. I always mess up the positioning of the fountain. Oh, one thing that they added in Islanders in one of the updates is you can zoom in now, which is super awesome. But I never leave enough space to put down fountains in these really cool positions. And I'm always a little bit upset by that. One of these days I'm going to get it right. But even still, we've got two of them. So we can put one on the left side and one on the right side and have a pretty nice amount of points from it. So I'm gonna plop this down right by this guy's front door. And then we'll go to the other side and put another one down. It's not getting as many points, but it's okay. Ooh, we got something big and juicy here. We got big and juicy. What? It's like a sausage. All right, we got something nice here. I got a park, and it will squeeze into a nice spot in my city right over here. I think I'm going to leave this island pretty soon because it's going to be permanently raining here, and I can already feel that doing bad things to my mood. 20 feels pretty good. So let's put it down. Oh, I shifted it over a little bit, and I got it up to 25. Okay, well, look. This island is cool and everything, and I could definitely keep building it up, and I could probably go farther. But screw it. Yes, I'm going to leave it forever, never to return. Let's go. I believe I've seen a similar layout to this before, but as far as I understand it, there is a certain level, a certain amount of random generation that goes on in the, or procedural generation, I should say, when you select a new island. Because I've never seen this patch of design before, but I have seen these kind of archway areas on some of the different maps that I've played on, or some of the different islands. So this should be interesting. Let's see what we get for our first pick. So farming pack and brick industry. I feel like brick industry is pretty good once you're already developed, but farming is a nice way to start things off. We've got a statue over here, so we'll kind of concentrate our building in this area. Unfortunately, we can't place our farms on the sand, but we can plop down up here. So I'm gonna make some diagonal farmland right now. We'll plop one right here, plop the second one right here, and then the the farming mill itself will go right in the center of them. Just enough points to get to the next level. Now we'll shift over to the brewing pack. This is going to give us some extra fields, 2 pieces of hops. So let's start off by plopping down the rest of these fields. There we go. And there we go. We're getting big points. And then we can place the hop fields, followed by the brewery. Perfect. Now for our next pick, finally we get to make our city. I may end up building this island out a little bit more than the last one because it's a bit larger. Bigger isn't always better, but in Islanders it is fun to manipulate these larger spaces. It's not about the size of the city, it's about the value of the land. I don't know. Never mind. Doesn't matter. I don't actually like putting city centers on the sand. I don't think I've ever made a very good city on the beach. I don't think I've ever done it. So maybe this could be the first day. Let's see what we get. Now I can get a couple of mansions squeezed in that are both taking advantage of the statue and the city center buff. So I'm going to try and get as many of these as possible squeezed in like this. There's going to be a very tight community over here. All right, I think I've milked as much as I can out of getting double dipping with the statues and the city center from our mansions. So I'm going to switch over to start putting down some houses that are dipping into both of them. Because I want to keep my points as high as I can get them while also preserving the aesthetic of my town. Because if I get a lot of points but it looks ugly, then it doesn't matter. So I've mentioned this before, but playing games like Islanders and just engaging with something that's very simple, very carefree. You don't have to worry about weeklies and dailies and insane progression systems, and you don't really have to worry about a lot of mechanics. Period. It's very nice, and it's a nice change of pace. I've been enjoying The Division 2 a lot, and I'm still enjoying it. And I've actually been working pretty hard trying to get a video locked down that is more polished and presentable, something fancy like what I used to make for The Division 2. And it's been coming along, but it's a tough journey. It's The Division's a tricky game to make content for, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys have noticed this or not, but I've gotten significantly better at this game. I've played it quite a lot in my spare time. In between playing The Division, I've been playing Islanders, and I feel that I'm pretty much a master at this game. I could make a guide on it. I could make a tutorial about how to get the most points in Islanders, and it would be so glorious. Oh, it would be the most glorious tutorial that ever existed on the face of this earth. Let's put down a fisher over there and another fisher right next to the mansion. They get their own fish. That's why they're so rich. They're not spending money on McDonald's. They're just getting their own filet o fish straight out the ocean, cooking it on the grill in their backyard that we can now zoom in on. Feels good. Nice, we got a fountain. So this is where things get really exciting for me, because I like the decoration part of the game. Something that will always feel like it's lacking in Islanders is the ability to truly plan out the aesthetics of your city, because you always have to operate on a little bit of guesswork, because you're never 100% sure about the spacing, about the orientations of things, and you go with the flow as much as you can when you play Islanders, and that's totally fine. That's not a problem. But as somebody that enjoys planning out things and making them look as aesthetically pleasing as possible, sometimes it can be frustrating to have this idea of, oh, I want to put a fountain over here so it syncs up perfectly with this and blah, blah, blah. And then I get the fountain and then I find out that I haven't spaced my buildings correctly, so it doesn't work. That's always going to be something that frustrates me with this game, but it's not an issue that's so grand that it ruins the experience for me in any way. If anything, it's more of just a quirk of the nature of the game. Well, we've got more lumberjacks, but these aren't going to get me any major benefits in the existing space that I have set up for lumberjacks. But if I shift them over here, I can probably double dip on these trees pretty well. So we'll place one on this side, another one over here. And I'm starting to feel like I'm running a bit low on points and structures and things, but we have already unlocked the next island, so even if we fail, it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna have to start getting a little bit reckless with my placements here. Actually, maybe I won't. We got a shaman and a hut. Houses are not getting me a lot of value right now because I've already pretty much built away from the city center and the statue, so there's not much else I can take advantage of. So I'm gonna go for the hut and hope I don't get a lot of houses, and I got exactly what I didn't want. So that's a bit rough. But on the bright side of this, what I can try to do is make a new nexus of homes and huts and things. Damn, if I had gotten maybe a city center pack or maybe a few more parks, then I could have really done some work with this island. I could have built out a lot more than what we got. But what we do have is still pretty cool. I'm absolutely loving the ability to zoom in and out. That was one of my main critiques of the game initially. Something that I would personally love to see in the future of Islanders is the ability to just free build to make really pretty cities and have access to all structures at all times. But that's just me. I'm just gonna put my little request out there, but I don't think that'll ever happen. But even if it doesn't, this game is fantastic, and I would totally recommend buying it for the $4.99 that it costs on Steam. It's such an enjoyable experience. It's very relaxing. Put on a podcast and just kind of chill out. Maybe put on my podcast and chill out. Who knows? But we're going to take a little break, but when we come back, we're going to move on to another island, and we're going to keep building, try to really fill out the entire area that we have to work with, and we'll see what happens, man. So, as always, the name of the game is Islanders. The name of the channel is iBluairJgR. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.